All right, guys, tonight's homework, starting out with the problem, 719. Beth and Amy are racing to see who can ride a tricycle the fastest. It's kind of scaring me that sixth graders are still riding tricycles. But anyways, let's get on to it. This is for Beth right here, and we can graph the information below. I'm not going to get into too big of details because it's kind of hard to be accurate when you're drawing with your finger. So hints on hints. We know we always start at 0, 0. So hitting up to have enough room here to make this the 20 mark. I'd say you can go up by maybe fours. Um, 4 is multiple. So if you went like 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, that works pretty well. Then if we just went up by, I'd say 5s if possible. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You can extend your line up one more to get to 45. And then you're just going to plot, make sure that we have that this is feet or your distance on this side labeled somewhere, and that you have time labeled on the bottom, which is in seconds. And just going to plot one dot or the last two dots, the first dot and the last dot, times 5 seconds. So it'd be anywhere in here, 11 feet. So we were going up by 5s, 10. So that's probably going to hit us right in there. And if we did 20 and 44, which is going to be towards the top, take a plot right there. If I was going to make a mark through here, I should be able to show you that I'm a little off probably on my mark. If I went to redo my original mark, I'd probably stick it right on the line if I could draw. So there you go, that it's a constant rate, that the lines will meet up as they go because she's going the same speed every 5 seconds, which you can tell with your multiplier. She's going 11 feet every 5. So first now we want to find her rate of travel. We're going to take that 5 seconds that we know about, or that 5 feet. 5 seconds and 11 feet, my bad. It's a Monday. If we divide both these by 5, we'll get her down to her 1 second, which is good when we're trying to find rates. We always usually want to try it for 1. Just easier that way, because if we need to find a random time, like how long would you go in 46 seconds, we can just multiply it by 46, both sides. We divide that by 5, it goes in 11, which would be 2.2 feet. So every second she's going 2.2 feet. Amy then travels 75 feet per 30 seconds. Would the line represent her distance and time be steeper or less steep than the graph? Explain. Well, first, let's kind of break down Amy using what we know. She goes 75 feet. She'll go 30 seconds. Now, to get this down to a similar thing, I want to get this maybe down to 5. So if I divide both these by 6, I know 6 goes into 35 times. So I got that 5 second mark. So I'll be able to compare this to her original 5 over 11 for Beth. So then 6 goes into 75, actually goes in 12 and a half times. So that would give us our 12 and a half feet. So then we know every 5 seconds that Amy goes 1.5 feet further. So I would kind of use the original mark here would be for Amy, and eventually she will continuously grow further and further away than Beth if they were going to ride into the sunset. So maybe we can explain anything, that since she is going faster after 5 seconds, not too much quicker, but fast enough that she would have her line being a lot steeper than Beth's. Now 7-20, it's kind of an interesting problem. We had one of these in the past. They give us the area of this shape, which is 8 1/4 square inches. So we're going to have to do some algebra here, knowing that to find the area, we need the base times the height. We don't know the height, but we know the base, so we can say that our area is equal to 4.5. I'm going to use decimals because I don't like working with fractions a lot. Times our height, which is unknown. We know that our area is 8 1/4, so I'm going to say 8.25. Now we can do a little keep change flip, because what's the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So if I was to define this, I could do my 8 1/4 divided by my 8 1/2. Then again, if I wanted to keep change flip, I could revert this back to a fraction to keep change flip. So I'd have that 8 1/4, keep it, change it, flip it. So working over here, I got 8 times 4 is 32 plus 1 is 33 over 4. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to change it to multiplication. Then I have that 4 times 2 plus 1 is 9 over 2. And I'm going to flip that to 2 over 9. I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to get 66 on top and 36 on the bottom. So again, we have an improper fraction. How many 36s go into 66? That seems like only one time. All right, so I have 1. And I would get 30 left over out of 36. If I divide both these by 6, actually, I would get 1 5/6. So right away, then we know that this side is 1 5/6. Our side is 4 1/2. Well, we have 4 sides, so we have another side of 4 1/2, another side of 1 5/6. We're going to add all those up to get our perimeter. And I'm running out of room here. Well, I know 1 5/6 plus 1 5/6 would be 2 10/6, which would be equal to 3 4/10, which is also equal to 3.4. Next, then we have our 4 1/2 and 4 1/2, which is equal to 9. Actually, my bad. This is 4/6. So we're just going to call this 3 4/6. And then we have to add 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. So we have 12 4/6, which then can be divided by 2 to get 12 2/3 inches. That's how big our perimeter would be. A lot of writing. I'm sorry. So hopefully we worked through it, or you're just checking your work. All right. We got fractions, decimals, percents, and words. It looks like they give you the 2 fractions, a percent, and a decimal. You just got to fill in the missing information. So again, 3/5, multiplying both by 20 to get your percent. That's what we've been practicing in class. 5 times 20 is 100, so 3 times 20 is 60%. So then we know the decimal is 6/10 or 60/100, whatever you want to put. And then words, you can write any one of these, the percent, the fraction, the decimal. I would just go 3/5. Make it easy. Next, we have 7/10. So again, I know that's 70%, 7/10. And then in words, you just write 7/10. And so on for the next 2. You can check them on the answer key. Continue on to the last 2, 16%, 16 over 100. Or you can reduce that down to actually 4 quarters, 4/25. You decide. We got 16/100. And then words, again, since we had it, you can just write 16%. Now, hopefully the last one's not too challenging for you. It's 2 45/100. So we know hundreds are out of percents are out of 100, so it's 245%. The fraction can be 2 and 45 over 100, or if you wanted to reduce that down, if you did, you'd have 2 and 9/20. And then in words, you'd have 2 and 45 hundredths. All right, simple expressions below. We have some order of operations to deal with. Again, hopefully you remembered that we're going to circle the terms. If you haven't, you might want to remind yourself that because that's going to help you stay in place. Remember, terms are separated by addition and subtraction signs. So first, I'm going to have there, and I'm going to circle this and leave my 7 at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is my parentheses, which is 5 minus 2, which is 3. Again, I want to keep that in parentheses until I do multiply. When I bring my 4 down, I'm adding my 7 here, and I got my 4 times 4, which is 16. So I got my 16 plus 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Bring down my 16 again. I got 16 plus 12 plus 7. And just multiplying from left to right. If you went step by step, you'd have 28 plus 7. And then you would get an answer of 35. Next, again, circle the 7. I'll switch my color here so it doesn't get too blobby. Leave that in the minus sign out and divide. Circle my term here and circle the 7 last. So again, we're going to do parentheses first, the 4 minus 3 to get 1. So it should be 4 times 1. Going backwards to the left, I have some division. 9 divided by 9 is 1. So I'll drop down my 7 minus 1 plus 4 times 1, which is just 4, minus 7. Keeping that 4 times 1 just as a 4, so I'm going to work my way from left to right, just subtracting, it looks like, and adding. 7 minus 1 is 6. I have then dropped down my plus 4 minus 7. 6 plus 4 is 10. And then 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. Again, circle our terms. So I'm going to keep that 12 here. We're going to keep this bracketed in my 5. 7 minus 4 is 3, so we have 3 times 3. Dropping down my plus 5 and my negative 12 plus. 3 times 3 is 9, so I have my negative 12 plus 9 plus 5. So looking at the negative plus a positive, I do have more negatives. So I'm thinking if I owed $12 and I paid 9 back, I'm still going to owe you $3. And then let's say, hey, I made $5 more. So I'm adding that to what I owed. What am I left with? I still now have a profit of $2. And the last one, again, big long term we have to circle because we don't have a minus sign to the end. Parentheses first, but what do we do in parentheses? We can do 15 minus 2, which is 13. And then 13 times 6. Actually, looking at this one, I'm going to rewrite this here. 3 times 15 minus 2 times 6 minus 5. So again, we're going to do the 2 times 6, which is 12. Then we're going to have the 15 minus 12 in parentheses, which will give us 3. And we keep the 3 in parentheses, and we have a 3 here, which is 9. And then from the 9, I'll bring down this negative 5 here, and your answer should be 4. Last problem, we got to calculate again straight across. When we're multiplying fractions, 2 times 11 is 22. 3 times or 5 times 14. 5 times 10 is 50. Add another 20, you would get 70. You could reduce that down then into 11 over 35. 12% of 32.28, so we take our 32.8 and we multiply it by 0.12. You should get 6, 5, and 6. Bring down my 0 for my place value, and I get 823. Add it up, you should get again 1 over to the right, place values 1, 2, so 3 total, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 936 thousandths. Same thing with C here. Again, line up your numbers. You can go 27.4 times 0.02. We just line our numbers up when we multiply. Four times 2 is 8, it's 14. 2 times 2 is 1, plus 1 is 5. 1 to the right, 2 to the right, so that means 3 to the left. You should get 548 thousandths. And then in the last one, again, we'll take that mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So you multiply by the whole number, add the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so we have 8 over 3 times 3 over 11, and you get 24 over 33. And if we divide those both by 3, you should get 8/11ths. All right, long video tonight, lots of homework. Answer keys on Google Classroom for you to check. Any questions you have tomorrow, just let us know and we'll answer them in class. Thanks.